Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Omega Constellation Globemaster annual calendar. You can see and you can purchase this stainless steel and tungsten carbide automatic annual calendar on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Omega Constellation Globemaster annual calendar. Released in 2016, this is a watch that actually came into the world under my aegis. I was there in Bezel World when the watch debuted, and I remember at the time thinking, this is a watch that has to be understood on its own terms. Whereas the Constellation Globemaster was the modern resurrection of the Pan constellation, the annual calendar plays to a different audience. A little bit bigger with more wrist presence, it has a different sensibility about it while retaining the same essential elegance as the 39mm Globemaster, but 41 with a Pan doubling as an annual calendar display. This watch certainly has an ambitious and bold styling statement about it that the original Globemaster simply did not. This perhaps was Omega reaching, trying for something distinctly different, starting with history, the Pan, and then elaborating and freestyling from there. The 41mm case does wear differently. Fundamentally a cushion. 41mm means that whereas the original Globemaster could probably wear on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters in circumference, I would say this one's probably better suited to an even 14. In terms of thickness, the watch wears a little bit thinner than its nominal thickness of 14.9mm because in a nod to history, the watch has a very thick and domed, rounded sapphire that creates some off-axis plexiglass distortion effects. It's handsome, it's also practical because it does help the watch to sit underneath a dress cuff, serving as a flanking ramp. From lug to lug, it has a compact dimension. This is a watch that's just under 50mm at 49.8 lug to lug, and I always say that when you have a smaller male wrist, which I define as about 14 centimeters to 16.5, you want to keep your watch under 50mm lug to lug to avoid overlap and awkwardness, and Omega smartly did exactly that. Now the case is in steel and fairly cushion shaped, which is to say the lugs are squared off and they pretty much just end. They taper down, they are short, stubby, elegant, a combination of 1950s and 60s Constellation profile to be perfectly honest, whereas the dial itself is a distinct 1950s reference. The case shape is a little bit more of a hybrid, and functionally that works because it's an ergonomic success. Now you will note that there's a little bit of strap flare, as the strap, very close coupled to the flank of the case, looks the business. There's hardly any daylight between strap and case, but as a result, when you bend it down, it does want to fight you a bit. This is another reason why I say, despite 2mm difference from the 39, this one does wear just a little bit bigger. The strap is broader, thicker, flares a bit more, although very substantial and impressive in its specification. Bolstered down the center, it's a semi-gloss navy blue large rectangular scale alligator leather with a monotone stitch. The underside is calfskin, and I have to say, when you move away from the bolstered edge, the quality, the sensuous quality of the strap is among the best I've experienced in the industry. There are $50,000, $60,000 Jaeger-LeCoultre watches that offer you straps like this, but to be perfectly honest, you don't expect it in the realm of the sub $10,000 complication. You'll also note that the clasp is a familiar piece to Omega connoisseurs, but a good one. A combination of satin finished and polished, the twin triggers ensure that it's not cheaply friction fit, nor does it use an awkward clamshell. You must depress both pushers to open it up so it can't pop open by accident, and there's a minderless system that allows you to tuck excess length underneath the clasp body. Therefore, there are no minder loops on the strap, so you have a very clean aesthetic when the watch is buckled down. Essentially, it looks like this. You see the buckle, you see the strap, you see nothing more. No minder loops to age, fall off, become natty or tatty. Now the case is simple. I mentioned that it combines a couple of different historic profiles. Fundamentally, it's a cushion though. It wears, I would say, fairly similar to something like a 42mm Panerai case, which is to say it has substantial heft to it, but the ergonomics are good. You'll note the case back is regularly shaped and thus creates no pressure points or hot spots. The detailing is simple but attractive, with a polished bevel along the shoulder of the case band satin finish on the flanks, and satin finished hoods to the lugs themselves. No crown guards, a press down crown rather than a screw down. Despite that, the watch achieves a water resistance of 100 meters, so put it on a water resistant band and you should be safe for surface exposure. Tungsten carbide micro-fluted bezel. You note that the fluting is distinctly smaller in its gradient than a Rolex Datejust or Datedate, for example, and that's a good thing because it does provide a little bit of visual separation. What you'll also note is that the facets themselves are polished and the flank of the bezel is of high polish. So not only does it have a different gray tone to it than the stainless steel, and there is an impressive contrast, but the glint and the polish help to really set the bezel apart as a distinct showpiece element of the design. Not only is it extraordinarily scratch resistant as tungsten carbide, but it does have a different look. This is a grayscale watch. The case in stainless steel, the bezel in tungsten carbide, and then the spectacular ruthenium style coat of the sunburst dial. And there is a distinct sunburst grain. Let's get a little bit closer so you can see that. Focus. And now we have a sharp definition of the dial. Okay, so the dial itself has a sunburst grain that radiates out from center, and it actually continues down the sides of the cascading facets of the pie pan profile. You'll note that in between the hour indices, the 12 facets serve as stand-ins for the 12 months of the year, and you'll note there's a small baton-style index underneath the minute hand that serves as the indicator for the month with an aperture itself featuring a handsome progressive step at 6 o'clock. It's a nicely balanced display, but it's going to be a take it or leave it look for many, as some simply can't come to terms with the printing on the dial. I happen to like it, and it's something I've come to like and appreciate more with time as I've experienced just how finely detailed these dials are. It might be a little bit difficult to grasp the appeal in still imagery on the internet, but in 3 dimensions with the pie pan profile, with the color of the blue script in a serif font against the ruthenium style gray, it really does capture the imagination and capture the heart at the same time. Again, let's work on our focus here. And you'll note there are quite a few details that speak to attention to detail. First, all appliques, including the Omega logo at 12 o'clock, plenty of luminescence, and a fatuous but fabulous blue metallic star at 6 o'clock. You'll also note that the watch features the romantic image of the original observation deck, the observatory structure from the 1952 Constellation, signifying the observatory chronometer status of the original watches. Now this watch is somewhat more advanced, featuring the Matas chronometer standard, which has all of the COSC chronometer elements, but developed with the Swiss Federal Institute of Metrology, it goes farther. So it is a fully cased up test of the watch's resistances, power reserve, winding efficiency, chronometric precision, all of these. So you still have those COSC chronometer yard marks, but you don't have the test of the bare movement, which is what the COSC is. You have the fully cased up assurance that you're getting a very capable and hardy watch. Now you'll note it is caliber 8922, an annual calendar. It requires adjustment only once during the jump from February to March, beating away at 25,200 vibrations per hour, which is a coaxial specific beat rate. The balance is free sprung, as you can see, and born on a full balance bridge for shock resistance, and there is the SI14 silicon technology to render the watch effectively amagnetic. Twin mainspring barrels, you can see them underneath their barrel bridge in series give the watch a 60-hour power reserve, bidirectionally wound for smoothness, and the 60-hour power reserve via twin mainspring barrels assures that not only does the watch have more than the standard 38 to 42 hours of power reserve for an automatic, but the twin barrels give you an even torque release for the duration and better isochronism for the duration of that power reserve. The watch does feature hacking or stop seconds, as you can see when I pull the crown to extremity into the setting position. Now I have hacked or stopped the seconds hand for synchronization against a known accurate reference time. Let's turn it through the change of the date, just in case I'm in the danger zone. I don't want to accidentally attempt a quick set when the watch is turning over. Now I will demonstrate that the watch also features a convenient double quick set. There's a quick set for the date, and there's a quick set for the month indicator. Again, 100 meters water resistant, this is a very tough and versatile timepiece. Elegant enough to use as a dress watch, tough enough to use as a sports watch, versatile enough to fit many different wrist sizes, and a phenomenal value in complications. On top of all that, it features the George Daniels coaxial escapement, so you get a little bit of the shine, the gleam, and the romance of independent horology in this watch. And the newer tri-level coaxial calibers, as used in this 8922 movement, feature all of the original promises that George Daniels made delivered. Short-term timing stability, long-term timing precision, as well as reduced long-term maintenance. You can see and you can own this Omega Constellation Globemaster annual calendar on our website. And we're back with the Omega Constellation Globemaster annual calendar. Beautiful in blue by night. See it by the light of day on our website.